Bones are amazing things. They hold us up, they support us, they make us strong. But bones have other uses. In the past, bones were thrown by diviners, seeking out the mysteries of the future. Now the bones are cubes, made of plastic or resin, but they still reveal things to us. As they fall from our fingers and rattle across the table, the story becomes clear. Welcome to Bone Throwers Theater, an RPG actual play podcast.
Hello and welcome back to another thrilling commentary of Bone Throwers Theater. This is Johnny, who usually plays Chime North.
This is Ellie playing Archi.
I'm Aaron. I usually play Sam Feluge.
This is Jeff. I'm playing myself. I normally play Jerr Lan.
And this is Jeremy, usually playing Julian Illix, also playing Bear, also deciphering about 50 different personalities while playing 3 characters in one scene.
That was pretty awesome.
I'm mentally exhausted.
I'm Jordan, and I like to keep my players mentally exhausted.
Yes, you do.
So, welcome to Whose Line Is It Anyway, where all the numbers are made up and the games are real. Jeremy just had a bit of a mind-blown moment right before hitting play, so would you like to go ahead and discuss that?
Let's first sort of trigger our way through everything that has gone on tonight, because there's lots of mind-blowing moments that I think that happened this session. Lots of revelation.
Okay.
Well, one, we've had some pretty epic fight scenes.
Yeah.
That was.
But, I feel our episodes that we did, because we only got 3 episodes in tonight, but one episode,
episodes.
Yeah. One episode was purely the upper floor fighting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Next episode was purely the lower floor fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And the final episode was pure confrontation.
Purely everybody fighting.
Yes.
With each other.
Yeah. It was very, very confrontational roleplay. Which we haven't done much.
We haven't had an opportunity to do much of that.
No,
We didn't watch this campaign yet.
Really? You think so? Because I felt like your character was very confrontational at the very beginning.
Yeah, I mean, we had
Everyone was
small
stubborn.
confrontations, but it was like not this big. Everyone's finally
like
together
have a-
confrontation.
Right.
And we talked about this. It is, at least for Julian's character, there had been so much pressing stuff that was going on that, especially for Julian, he would pick up on something that was said. Somebody said something that sounded a little bit peculiar, and Julian as a character would be like, well, okay, hang on to that. Stash it for later when we're not in the heat of trying to plan a heist or trying to escape or trying to regain the past 2 weeks of my life because I was unconscious for 2 weeks, and all those things, and eventually got to the point where it was just too much for him to hang on to, and then he had to just kind of explode a little bit all over everybody.
And that's something that, like episode 1 or 2, there was a moment between Sam and Julian got mad at Sam, and Sam brought up a new bright and shiny for Julian to follow. Pretty much played that game, and Julian dropped it. I think it was after Sam broke into Julian's apartment. And Julian is just kind of, because there's been so much going on, that there's always something else that needs to be done.
And I purposely brought back some of the clues that Julian has picked up on, even like those first few episodes. There was the time where Julian went back to the military base. And it was just a throwaway moment when Julian was investigating something and Jordan was like, well, let me give you something. And you come up with what it was. And that's when I came up with this, like, oh, he heard the echo of Sam's elemental Shade saying, let's go in and help it.
Yeah.
And then from that moment till what we played tonight, which is like 4 weeks later, he had finally got enough evidence in his brain and pieced it together, and then totally wasn't shy about it. It's like, yeah, Sam and Shade, talking to Sam, wanted to go into the building to help it. So I know that Shade talks to other elementals or interacts with other elementals.
Interacts. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of that as far for Julian's character, which I think is why along the way there hadn't been much of that PvP heavy feeling until this past episode.
Oh my gosh, Ellie, where did you come up with the idea
Oof.
that...
The splitting personality.
Well, not just that. I mean...
That the elemental
Like the voice-
is different from your consciousness? Feel free to pipe up.
Archie is
Sorry.
I'm the one who
Don't
asked
be
you the
afraid to
question.
interrupt.
Sorry, Archie
Actually,
is an
there's
android.
3.
Okay.
There's Archie, the weird dark voice, and the elemental itself.
Oh,
Now, was this something that you've always had planned for the character, or is this something that you thought up?
Literally at that moment.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So...
I knew what I was doing with the concept
Mm-hmm.
based upon what I told you, and I think I told you too, or as well, Jeremy, about how I think Archie has something to do with the council himself.
Yeah. Yeah, you have mentioned that in the past.
Is it? Or maybe it's just the root virus.
Do we want to get on the root virus now, or do we want to hold off on that?
We have all sorts of theories running through our heads because it's a brand new element.
So my thought, the whole thing was Daisy, aka Root, aka Katari, aka
Something else.
Quiet, was that it kept referencing going deep and being too long in a host.
right.
So no, we don't know how old Archie is.
Yeah.
So it could be the root virus. Also, could not be. It might not be the root virus if Archie's like.
We also
What we
don't know
call-
that Archie is
Did
an
you-
android.
Right.
Did you share with Jordan your
The idea
theory?
about the androids being rebooted?
Yeah, and Android being actually a whole lot older than they.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
Do you want to share?
Are
idea?
you talking about in relation to the amnesia?
Yeah, in relation to the amnesia.
But it also ties in significantly with your choice to break into 3 different characters within Archie at the same time.
And also,
Yeah.
unbeknownst to what was about to happen, what happened with Bear tonight as well.
Right.
Yeah. Because there are some pretty cool moments with Bear that we need to talk about too.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and lay
Alright.
out your idea about what's going on with the world.
Well, I brought up to Jeremy a while ago about I couldn't figure out a reason why as to why he had amnesia.
Yeah.
It was just I just came up with the idea. Oh, he has amnesia, and I thought, well, since we figured out, that I might be
Yeah.
what Bear is also
Like the androids?
an
Or-
android,
yeah.
android of a sort, and I figured that we go in for a routine rebooting, and we're pretty much inside spies,
Oh.
So
almost like a hacker of itself.
Yeah.
So that concept that we threw out in the side shot of the council actually using Android street kids to keep
Yeah.
tabs on street kids,
Possible.
possible.
Almost, there's like certain hackers that are hired to make sure they can build better walls against
Yep.
something like that.
How are these kids beating the system?
Right.
They're kicking it into
Let's-
submission.
Let's figure it out.
Kick.
Huh. That's interesting.
So one of the things that Ellie also said in that conversation was that the androids are actually a whole lot older because they've been just rebooted and rebooted and rebooted. And I was like, holy crap, what if, and we never got to it, but what if through some research, there's evidence that Bear looks 9 years old, but he's been around for like
Hundreds of years.
Okay.
hundreds of years.
Okay.
Jerr.
Yeah.
Mind blown moment, like epiphany right there. Maybe that's why part of his face was off, because they were trying to reboot him and didn't have time. Give him a new identity every time they are rebooted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Does make sense.
And it fits along with the idea that Jordan threw out that if you're bonded for a longer time, that's when the problems
Kind of start
to happen. And you saw that with Archie, where there's kind of like the split personalities. And you saw that with Bear, where when he went into
Bear mode.
berserk mode, it wasn't him. I mean, it was him, but it was something completely different. And when he got snapped out of it, he was just like, "Oop, all right,
Where's the food?
and back to his normal self.
Yeah.
We saw a glimpse of that in the side shot with Dolph.
Yes.
When Dolph was like, it's just a bear, and he just turned and was like, we got meat. And then kept going.
Yeah.
Well, I just thought about this, but what if him turning into like a bear-like thing was leftovers from when he was bear as an android was helping at the animal sanctuary, where that the animals were all sent because they were being outrageous and killing everything and everyone violently forever.
Could be.
Yeah.
But what I did at that moment, I decided, I was like, okay, let's make it that the elemental portion of the android is totally in control.
Yeah.
And then I really like how we started to bring in Chime's power with that and calmed Bear down enough to forget about that first objective was to get the bear.
Yeah.
When we talked about this in between episodes too, why is the bear so important to the elemental?
Yeah.
Because it seems like the android, the kid portion of Bear is just attached to this bear, and it's just in the back of the mind, I need this bear.
Mm-hmm.
But there's not a reason, but it seems like the elemental is really not going to let this bear go.
Yeah.
Right.
The elemental is very much attached to the bear.
And once Chime was able to calm the elemental down off of being fixed on the bear, it just snapped to the next immediate thing that was a priority. Oh, I'm hungry.
Fuel.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because it just used up a lot of energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I also said in between episodes, beg Jordan to give me at least 1 or 2 more sessions with Bear before
Offing
Killing
him
him
he goes bye-bye.
because he's going to have to.
Or we keep Bear and kill
until
Julian.
a later episode.
Keep Bear and kill Julian.
Yeah.
It's always an option.
That is also a thing that could happen.
At least
To
you
be-
have a character in reserve.
To be honest, Julian at this point is considering just walking. Still trying to
Yeah.
do
What he does.
what he does, but he's
Just leaving this group.
kind of fed up with this group.
Oh, that's why.
But
That's why I'm glad that Jerr wasn't there, because he would be done with his group after that confrontation.
After we get, now that we're
After you
about to-
just sat there talking about murdering this unconscious woman,
and Sam's like,
and
go ahead,
and
do
then
it.
Archie was like, "All right, go ahead."
well, like,
We're a little
but
bloodthirsty.
the fact that Julian's fed up with the group is like the same reason that Chime, instead of trying to use his power in calming Julian down, he just walked out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because that would have been a perfect opportunity to bring up his power as well.
I didn't even think about that at that point.
But that's exactly why he just walked out. I said, let them fight it out.
We'll deal with the consequences.
We'll deal with
later.
the consequences later.
And I think the other thing is, Sam isn't as bloodthirsty for Katari as it appears. It looks like Sam was just like, all right, let's kill Katari. But what prompted that was,
The fear of the multiple.
that thing reaching out and saying, I'll get rid of Shade for you.
Yeah.
And Sam's like, kill it now.
Yeah.
But to Chime, who's outside, to Julian, who's in there and isn't hearing that voice talk to Sam, you guys don't know that, so it just looks like Sam just, yeah, sure, let's kill her.
All of the internal struggle was so overbearing for this
Yeah,
scenario. It was like
it was.
Well,
people just intently staring at each other, like.
yeah. And that's what he kept saying. He's like, why do y'all keep talking in your heads?
I was like, you're all going too crazy. I'm
You all
out.
are
I'm
mental.
out. I'll get the groceries.
Jared comes back, everybody's dead.
Well,
No.
Time to move on to a new town.
Bear's just sitting there, it's like, all right, finally, the food!
And Chime's just sitting in the hallway.
Another scene I really liked was the scene when Julian and Jerr came to the top of the stairs and Chime's standing there over all the
yeah,
dead
that was
bodies.
hilarious.
and I really was hoping that you were going to ask Sam for clarification, because Sam would be like, I don't know, I was taking care of this other guy. I had no idea how what Chime
Because,
did.
yeah,
If you notice, Julian actually did
kind
say
of mentioned
it,
it, but yeah.
but kind of was just like, shrugged it off and then went to something else.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
I was almost afraid of what was going to happen, because at one point it was just the soldiers in there and Bear. And I was like, holy crap, if Julian gets there first, he's going to shoot Bear.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That would have not gone well.
But yeah, like it's kind of sad that the Sam and Guitari showed up as quickly as they did after you saw Chime.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Oh, okay.
Something else we all just kind of forgot by the end there, that Bear still doesn't have a face.
Oh yeah, we can see now.
We can
Can we see now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been over 24 hours
Yeah,
by this
it's-
point, I would assume.
It was like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm assuming that we're reaching that point.
Yeah.
I'm guessing everybody else was so involved with everything, they didn't look at the
They didn't pay
child
much
with no
attention.
face.
I know that as soon as I get back, I'm gonna be like, "Where's the kid's face?"
But we also know about androids at this point.
Yes.
It won't be
Because
But we've never seen a child android.
You've seen Serrani take her face off.
right.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be a complete and utter surprise that
No, it won't be
it'll be like the kid's an android,
Oh, okay.
rather than what the hell is going on.
And it'll be kind of like that
Heck
moment.
is going on?
It's
It'll
like,
still be like, "Where the heck is this kid's face?"
Yeah.
right, yeah. But it's like that scene, like you walk in and you see something all completely absurd, and the person's like, "This is not the weirdest thing you've seen me do," and you're like, "Yeah, that's true." And you just keep on going.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, okay.
Does he still have fangs?
No.
Okay.
No, those pop back into place
When,
Okay.
when his face
when
went
Beast
back.
Mode is done.
Beast mode. I had fun playing both Bear and Julian at the same time. Especially the scene in the stairwell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it was like, what is this kid? I don't know. Where are you from? I don't know. And it's like, where do you live? And I dropped the bomb. I was like, oh, probably someplace new that Serrani's gone. And just walked away. I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah, that was a good one.
hmm
Dun, dun, dun.
That was a nice bomb drop there in the middle of everything, where it's like, "What? Okay, that's."
I mean, for the whole fight on the lower level, like Bear and Sam just took care of everything.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, I
Archie was
threw
trying
Bear.
to make sure
Yeah.
that
This was my war strategy.
Yes, apparently.
unleash the beast.
This kid has some powers.
Have your bear.
Here, have my gremlin. I got him wet.
Right? So, I mean, that's kind of interesting because we actually don't know what Archie's capable of.
Yeah.
Bear does. Bear has seen.
Bear's seen the fire sword.
No.
Nobody else.
No.
has.
Bear has seen the flame jet,
Oh, yeah.
not the fire sword.
Yeah.
Fire sword has actually never been used at this point.
Well,
They took
they
it.
took away her
Oh,
little
yeah.
rod thing that she used for a focus.
Doesn't mean I can't build another one.
No, it doesn't.
But so, I mean, so that's interesting. We don't.
I'm
All
sure
we
we'll
know
get that
is
far.
that
That he was in.
he's a
the,
fire proxy.
Yeah. All we knew at first was that he was escaping with this kid
Right.
from the council.
I'm just sad that my rolls weren't as epic as Jeremy's.
Oh my goodness.
Jeremy
my
was on
rolls
top of
were
the rolls.
Fire.
It was glorious.
My rolls were on fire.
I was
Six
trying to
after
do
six
such epic
after
things, and I couldn't. I was falling just short.
But you had the creative capacity to try for those epic
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
That takes a lot of work. And if the dice don't support it sometimes, well, then there's always next time. But
I thought across the board there were some good creative
Like-
choices that everybody made
yeah.
Yeah.
tonight.
Sam is really hoping to woo Bear and take Bear as.
A protege.
As her new
Protege.
apprentice.
No.
So Sam has tried it before with another child.
The one that we killed.
We ended up killing me.
So.
He was evil. He was very evil.
Well, it's not that he was evil, it's that he went crazy from having too many elementals in his brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he was evil.
Oh.
And trying to kill us.
So that was the whole thing about Sam trying to show Bear, hey, look, we can fly. And then Bear's like, no,
Whatever.
not a fan. It's like, oh.
Bear was actually wanting to just climb up the rope like it's nothing.
Like he held onto the rope while you guys.
Like he already had one hand on the rope.
And you grabbed him.
I expected you to be like, what, we're climbing up this rope? Yeah, we're going to climb up this rope. You need some help? Nope. And just kind of like,
Hand over hand.
And then he was just lifted up in the air, still holding onto the rope.
and then have Julian be there at the top and be like, what the crap is going on with this kid?
The creative moments is one of the reasons I was sad that it didn't come down to Julian just seeing Chime down there and like Chime.
So the session started off with
Started off with questions.
The questions, and I was
And
specifically
we
thinking
abandoned
about
those questions for more questions.
the flame. I was thinking about the flame.
Yeah.
So remember the flame turned in the elemental for flame with the giant glowing sun in the
Right.
hallway.
Yes, that now.
What does that represent?
It's part of what you call it,
Okay, part of, not actually.
Part of what?
the god.
Part of? Where do we get part of from?
I don't know.
I don't know
Well,
either.
I get part of the fact that, I mean, really, it's easy.
No, I get part of because the conversation with a shade saying that he is air, earth, water, fire. He's all the elementals,
But he's mostly fire.
but he's mostly fire.
So he actually is 4 separate
Entities
pieces.
that join together.
by your powers combined,
Yeah.
I am Huracan kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. And so that's like this is just my thinking is that the council is made up of those 4 elementals.
Yeah.
Well, we already kind of debunked that last time
Because there was
because there's the void and the sculptor, and it's kind of scary that once the fighting started, those 2 bugged out.
Yeah. But Void and Sculptor are earth and air.
No,
No.
they're not.
So
No,
we
They're
no.
innate in.
Oh yeah, that's
Common.
right.
Innate and
Yes.
common.
I couldn't remember if that was something that we had talked about last time or if that
forgot
was
that.
something that Jordan had let slip on the drive home last time.
No, we talked about
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
because
I forgot.
I remember that heavily because.
well, I told you more on the drive home.
I don't remember it.
Think about it this way: we have 2 key numbers. The first is 4 different elementals,
Uh-huh.
and then we also have 3.
Oh, that's right. So there's 12.
12 members of the council.
12 members of the council. 4
Elementals.
and 3. Why did I get 12? I got
4
4
times
times 3. But why? That there's 1 representative for each. So there's earth, fire, air, and water for elementals, for proxies. Earth, fire, air, and water for innates, and earth, fire, air, and water for common. So all branches are equal. Was that kind of where you went?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
That kid, I'm telling you, he was built to be on the council. If he hadn't freaked out and
True
said the
story.
one thing,
He
if
truly
he hadn't
was.
said the one thing,
He might have made it.
he would have been on the council one day.
I am
telling
the
you.
council. Oops.
Yeah, if he hadn't said "I am the council," his future would have been very
Except for
bright.
the fact they would have drowned.
Well,
Yep.
except for that. But he would have been perfect on the council.
Yeah. My question, my goal, it's not till after all this stuff. There's somebody who has to die. So we talked about questions and how we stepped into this whole thing with questions and goals, and you said we added questions. My stuff has nothing to do with anything that we're facing right now. Someone that we have interacted with in the past. He may have to die, but someone who I think
Thursday?
is going to get us somewhere.
Thursday was a random one-off.
I know Thursday's coming back because Thursday supplied all of our needs.
All hell Thursday.
And Julian's rifle didn't blow up on him this time.
Yeah.
It blew up everything else around him.
Yep. I did very good this time.
Thursday's got the goods. Yeah, so who looked at the flame after he was killed?
Sam.
Only Sam?
Same
Only
in
Sam.
Archi.
Yeah, Archie saw
Archie did
it
as
when he was
well.
going to get the bear.
But
Archie was trying to crawl around the flame.
Archie would have no reference to.
Well, remember, Archie heard something.
Yes.
But it's not, he doesn't know if it was the flame. He just heard a voice in his head.
That's right. You are not worthy, synthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or no, it was
Yes.
suitable because then we
Yeah,
named
you're
Not
right.
suitable.
But
We don't wear suits.
Yeah.
Because did Bear hear it too?
No,
No.
Archie asked
Oh,
Bear.
She turned around and was like,
Oh, that's right.
Suitable.
That was how that conversation
Yes.
we don't wear suits. I love playing Bear.
I love that line. You are not suitable synthetic. Like I was like, oh, he's looking for a new host, obviously to replace the member on the council. When that happened, I was thinking how ironic it would be if he possessed Chime because of his phobia of
You can't.
can't.
Because an
Because you're
can't.
an
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking it would be very ironic because of his phobia with fire elementals.
Yeah.
I mean,
Have we talked
you can be on the
about,
council,
Yes.
but you can't be a.
we haven't talked about the fact that they can be forcibly bonded.
Not with innates.
There's actually a thing about that. The innates cannot bond elementals. Cannot be bonded with an elemental.
Yeah.
You can't be multiple.
People can be forcibly bonded. Yes,
Right.
we did talk about that.
And the idea is that there's actually something different about them.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Gotcha. Yeah. So,
Should we talk about the hard stuff?
I thought we were talking about the hard stuff.
No, snacks is the hard stuff.
Snacks is the hard stuff.
Well, can we talk about this root virus because we never really talked
Oh,
about
the root
it.
virus.
Okay, yeah, back to that.
Root virus.
So,
Daisy.
I thought you were going to say Daisy Beluga. Oh, dear.
So that
Jordan, you said that you gave us some hints about
yeah,
song.
Daisy is an explicit reference.
It's a flower.
Yeah.
and it was coming out of a cat.
No. Well,
Yeah, it
yes,
was.
there's that. But the song Daisy Daisy was a specific reference to 2001.
Oh yeah.
By 2001, you mean the year?
No.
Or
the movie.
The movie.
Okay, making sure that I was following because I'm like, what happened?
I need to
You
watch
know,
that
like, I'm
again.
thinking back to
It's on my I need to
2001.
watch again list for a while now.
So there's the computer Hal that's
Mhm.
trying to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is that Hal has decided that he's the next evolution.
Right.
And he's basically got a virus that he wants to wipe out humanity.
Yes.
And the last thing that he does as he's being shut down is he starts to sing the first song that he was taught in his artificial intelligence. So his
I love how this is my explicit reference. You guys should get this. Like, I love it.
it is very
Yeah, it's
explicit.
been probably 4 years since I've watched it.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
that's funny that you would say that because there was at some point. What? Oh, it was when we were talking about how many paramilitary people were in the stairwell.
Yeah.
Because
All of us thought it was-
first you described it as like I thought it was just like hordes.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, like 20,
marching down
30.
the steps, and I almost said like, oh, like Agent Smith style from like The Matrix Reloaded. But now that you say that, it's the root virus sounds more like that kind of virus in where it just wants to wipe everything out, and it wants to be the only.
It specifically wants to clear you back to a root state.
Huh.
So when you said you gave us hints to where it came from as far as inspiration,
Yeah,
not where it came from in game. I thought you were saying came from in game,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Oh no.
Oh,
Yeah, that's,
okay.
that's what we thought
Um,
you were saying.
And that's where I was thinking that it had to do with how long as it spreads throughout the host,
Yeah.
the elemental starts getting thin, gets a little crazy.
That has a big part of it too. Yeah.
It means Jerry's crazy.
No. But
Depending
see,
on how long it takes.
see, I don't know that it works the same with water elementals as with the others because water elemental thing is healing.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Good point.
I'm sure it happens,
also-
but not nearly as quickly.
But also, I mean, yeah, root Daisy is probably not all there.
That's quite clear.
And she lied. But also, Daisy is feeding into something with Sam that was there from the very beginning, but we haven't really ever touched back on. Katari has the hots for Sam.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, which is interesting because there was one point where that's what it sounded like, but when it came back up in a separate conversation, Katari was like, "Oh no,
I was
oh,
recruiting you.
Yeah, no,
I was just...
is that what you thought? Oh no. And
Yes.
Yeah.
and then when it came back up again, I thought I was like, oh, is Jordan just spinning more? That Katari is lying.
Jordan being Jordan.
But now it might be that, well, maybe at each of those moments, Katari didn't think she was lying.
Because once your root is cleared, everything is quiet. All right.
Glad I don't have one of those on me.
Character points.
points.
Let's go ahead and give everybody 10 character points this evening.
Good, because I spent a ton.
You guys dropped so many character points.
I
and so
spent
many
no
fake
character
points.
points. Jeremy spent for everybody.
Go ahead and notate that you have 4 of those, because those don't clear.
Yeah, I put those in.
How did you get away with that?
I spent 8 character points.
Because Archie has
And a fate point
Archie
in
has
one
completely
episode.
different
Yeah.
priorities than everybody else. And this is like, oh, there's fighting over there. I'm gonna look for the toy.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it was valid. It was being taken care of.
Yeah. So anyway.
Remember, I had strategized. Bear, you take care of it. I'll find your bear.
Yeah. All right. So let's go ahead and talk about snacks because that's going to be hard. There was Takis, which Ellie brought. There was Chick-fil-A that Jeremy brought. Jeff brought lemon squares. Johnny brought homemade pit beef with homemade barbecue sauce.
It is the Maryland State sandwich.
It is.
And then, Aaron, you brought the chili.
I brought the chili.
And I provided drinks and... Oh, I should have given you guys the pumpkin roll.
The look of betrayal on Aaron's face.
It's like, you had pumpkin roll and didn't give it to me?
Oh, man.
It was behind the beer. I forgot about it.
There's beer?
He did say that.
You promised food. Where's the food?
It's been an hour.
So,
There's my appetite.
Yes.
Always late.
Yes, it's always later.
I'm going to have to, even though I brought it and I usually try not to vote for myself, I'm going to have to vote for the beef.
I'm voting for the beef.
Because I just couldn't stop eating it.
I couldn't stop eating anything.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true.
But the beef with the homemade barbecue sauce,
Horseradish.
it really hit the spot in my book.
I am voting for the chili.
I'm actually gonna go for the Chick-fil-A nuggets because I had the most of those.
Oh, God, you're making it hard on me.
It really depends on what Ellie votes for.
Yeah, what's your vote?
Chili.
Oh,
So, yeah,
now it's already between the chili and the
And the beef.
And chili and the beef.
Chili and the beef. That sounds like a band name.
Yeah, it does.
Chili and the beef.
And just so you know, they went very well together.
They did.
He had to say.
So my wife is over there eating both of them right now.
Meow.
I'm going to go ahead and go with the chili. Because I've been looking for it. I've been trying to find time to make chili over the past week or two.
Very good.
So snack has been settled. Congratulations.
Chili.
Yeah.
You win the pumpkin roll.
Yeah.
And the point.
And the point.
Role playing.
I thought.
I say we have to give it to Jeremy tonight just because
Yeah.
Yeah.
he did 90% of role playing against himself.
Yep.
And the amount of, different personalities he had to deal with.
It was funny. It was funny at the beginning of, I think, the first episode when we started off with Julian and Jerr up top. And then we're just like, all right, let's switch to downstairs. I kind of settled back in my chair and I'm like, all right, let's see what happens. Oh, wait, I'm Bear. I got to play.
Yeah, that was funny.
It's like, yeah, no rest for the wicked.
So I will say I had fun playing Bear and Julian at the same time. My heads just started to spin when I had to do Bear, Julian,
And Shade.
compounded by listening to other characters have multiple personalities and trying to keep it straight.
Who was who?
What character am I, and who is speaking, and what is that character actually hearing? Because there was at one point.
Oh yeah.
There was at one point where, as Julian,
You were interrogating.
I was
Sam.
interrogating Sam, but couldn't hear what Shade was saying.
But you were also Shade.
But then switched to Shade right after that. It just got really confusing.
It's like we need have you ever seen that party game where you
Yeah.
wear the headband and
Headbands.
then you put the word and the headbands and everybody else can read it? It's like,
Yeah.
what character am I?
Yeah.
You know?
There was a couple times where I think Aaron, you switched and asked something of some other character.
Yes.
I was Julian, and then you asked something, and I was like, wait, that doesn't make sense. Oh, you're asking that for Shade.
Yeah.
And I'm supposed to be Shade. Okay.
So at one point I had talked about bringing in a little pawn to pass around for Shade, which might help keep some things clear, but maybe not.
I will say I did have fun playing Shade. It just got a little confusing.
Yeah.
I've always been a little leery about playing Shade before tonight because it's like, well, he's kind of dark, and at the same time, not everybody plays him the same way, so I don't want to do something that is going to be very contradictional.
But I think that's part of the fun and
Yeah.
the mechanic of each person.
Well, yes, but I don't want to do something that's totally...
Totally off kilter.
It's like Shade, if he's
In a happy
pointed
mood.
straight up, will shift left and right occasionally, but it's not going to be, Shade over here on this corner of the map. Oh, now Shade's over here, this corner of the map.
Yeah. That makes sense.
It's kind of interesting because Shade is a character that we are allowing to have a lot more flexibility than others.
Yes.
Like, thinking about other campaigns, the Terra Proximus where we had the whole box full of NPCs.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we did, I had literally wrote up stats for 40 different NPCs that were parts of this camp. And I would pass out the cards randomly to people and then have them play the NPCs.
That was fun, though.
That was a
That
lot of
was
fun.
fun.
There was one
It
time.
got confusing listening to it, but it was a lot of fun playing.
I
those
think we did
characters.
it.
it wasn't
I
too
think
bad.
They did a
well,
good job
because it didn't get
minimizing
that
the confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it,
Especially once we start killing off NPCs.
hell yeah.
There was one time where there was a confusion about where one NPC went a little too hard for a player character's taste that I remember. But other than that, everything went pretty smoothly. But yeah, so you have that, and then you have this extreme where all of the NPCs are getting passed around and everything. And now that had to be a little bit more, we had to, as a group, think, well, what do these characters want to do? What's their role in the society and everything like that?
Mm-hmm.
And then with Shade, it's like, oh, well, any corner of the map is free. Let's just go ahead and see where Shade feels like going today.
But he's continued to be dark. He's continued to be
He's
thrill
dark,
seeking,
mischievous.
mischievous.
He reminds me of the Joker.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody has veered off of that general.
I wouldn't put him directly in the Joker category.
No, not quite so.
Insane.
Yeah.
No, but he reminds me of the Joker in the fact that, he's very dark and mischievous, and everything he does out of a way to find fun for himself or herself, as we learned tonight.
I didn't know Shade was a girl.
I didn't think Shade was a girl either.
Listen, I think it just makes sense, like what I said, the elementals are sexless, and when they become a proxy, they just take on whatever sex their host
But
is.
here's the thing: is that Sam is not out to the group as
No.
a female. Sam
I
presents as
love
a
that
male.
bomb too.
Yes.
So
Because I knew exactly what Jordan was doing, but Julian would be so confused at that statement.
Yes.
And it's the second time Julian's
Yes,
been
it's
told. So now, will Julian put that together? Because remember Julian spoke with the fire elemental who said, she's lying to you.
no, that he is lying to you. Who's lying to me? The
man.
military man.
The man.
Oh, that's what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the man.
But so now so you have the military man, and now you have she, the one who came before.
But that statement
She-
was
she-
so disjointed. There was no
Yeah.
context
Yes.
at all to that statement. There was no.
Don't let her kill me.
It was
Yeah.
don't let her hurt us. It was the elemental that came before. It's like
Meaning.
before when? Before where?
Made
Who
sense
is us?
to-
Who? Yeah.
Yeah.
Made sense to Daisy.
It's like trying to get an answer from my kids.
Yeah.
Children are wonderful teachers in the art of GMing.
So are we all in agreement?
I think we are.
Yeah.
Jeremy
Oh,
makes
yeah.
the
Yes.
point.
Yeah.
I would say, though, I mean, still, every time Ellie has to make a role-playing decision, is
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yes.
That's
Oh,
fantastic.
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I think it was sort of inspirational how the rest of the episode went because
Yes.
of that choice.
Because of that
Yeah.
choice, yes.
I love your choices in general. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna throw a kid down. I'm gonna
I
make
love
a
this
choice
kid now, but go do this for me.
Look at that choice and how it totally changed the rest of that episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made Bear this huge force to be reckoned with, and that's still, who knows if Chime is the only one that, and Archie,
Right.
Chime and Archie are the only one that knows that about Bear, because at that time Katari and
Yeah. Sam around the
Sam
hallway.
were doing something else.
Yeah. Dealing with the councilman.
and accomplish their agenda.
And did anybody? I don't know if anybody did.
I didn't get even anywhere close to where.
I would not agenda, but
I
further
could've gone.
their character the most. I would say Chime.
Chime walking out of there was a pretty big move.
Yeah.
Well, not just walking out there, but we got
confronted
to
Bear.
actively use his powers.
Yeah, when he confronted Bear, and like I said, the walking out of the apartment was a conscious decision
Mm-hmm.
to let things play out and not try to calm things down, which is his typical thing.
Right. Right. I can see that. Character advancement
Yeah, I would say Chime.
or Bear. Chad.
Well,
Bear,
had a character
unfortunately,
sheet.
yes,
Yeah, Bear
Bear
can't get the points.
Bear can't get points.
Yet.
Not until Julian dies. Title of next episode: Julian must die.
Honestly, I'm okay with that.
Julian over there.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people in that room would be okay with Julian dying.
I think a lot of the people in the room would be okay with everybody else in the room dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why Jer's not there.
I mean, honestly, it's like
Jerr comes back, everybody's got guns. So Jerr all standing
Wait, have you
waiting
seen
for
that
Jerr to
episode of
come
The
back in
Office?
there.
Yeah.
Jerr comes back in, everybody's waiting. It's like, Jerr, we
Whatever.
drew
Or
straws.
just my debit card and ID.
And we all point at Jerr.
We do straws.
it's
You got the short one.
it really is ridiculous because with Katari, I've been trying to have Katari be like someone who you can come to for information. I originally wanted Sarani to be that person, and then that never happened.
Oh, yeah, that never got brought up in the
Yeah.
shakedown, is because that's what Katari wanted to talk about. Was the fact that Sarani was gone.
Yeah. And so that never came up. And Katari, originally I had just meant her to be like a kind of fun side romantic character.
Mm-hmm.
And that just kind of spiraled out of control, and now she's what is going on in her head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, Jeremy, you normally tell me when you have ideas. You kept this from me.
No, I told you.
Did you? I don't remember.
I didn't tell you details. I told you that Julian was going to get very contentious with Katari.
Okay, yeah. I mean, but
Because all the evidence that he's been hanging on to.
yeah.
That was one thing that surprised Chime, because he was out in the hallway listening to everything going on, how strongly Katari defended him.
Yeah.
That surprised Chime.
But I don't know if it was Johnny as the player or it was Johnny echoing what Chime would have done at the point where Julian pretty much blamed everything on Katari and her lies, and Katari's line made Chime the victim of what happened, because if Katari had said something about from the beginning, hey, we're pulling you in on this case, it has to do with your daughter.
How much different would things have played out?
Yeah.
Unless they had some kind of reason to not tell.
I was wondering the same thing.
Well, we kind of speculated that at the beginning,
Yeah.
that Aelin from the start was in the custody of Healing Hands. And when the riots happened and Julian saved her from the riots, she was actually with somebody from the Healing Hands that didn't make it out. So Julian just assumed custody when all actually the Healing Hands have been keeping tabs on Aelin for forever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So Healing Hands considered Aelin their asset.
And I mean, she was a really strong individual. It's a shame that she took a boat to the head. I mean,
I tried to save her. I really did.
don't look
So-
at me.
I'm considering using, and it came up tonight, and I wanted to use it in so many instances before, but when Julian, talking to Katari's Elemental, said that Sam and Shade wanted to kill Katari. And then
Yeah.
Aaron's like, well, yeah, just throw me under the bus.
Uh-huh.
I think the new
aqua rail.
Yes, under the aqua rail. Should be the new phrase.
Yep.
Well, just throw me under the aqua rail.
So did Chime get a point for character advancement?
I would
Yes,
assume
I
that
would.
be
I
the
would say
case.
so. 'Cause I don't think anybody else did anything for the character.
No.
No, not really.
Yeah, I feel like if
We've been able to
Outside
get one
of
more
it.
episode in, I
Yeah.
think, but
And Katari would be dead.
Probably.
probably.
And there would have been another shakedown.
Shakedown.
There has to be confrontation with Archie because we don't know anything about him.
Right.
Doesn't mean Archie has to die.
Ooh. If we, I think it goes down this path, we are considering just killing Katari because our elemental has gone nuts. And what did Julian just hear on the way over to there?
A nuts elemental.
Yes.
Now, that's not why Sam. That's not why Sam is willing to kill Katari.
It was just like, oh, this is going to be fun.
Shade has said that.
Sam wants Katari dead because Katari's elemental wants Shade gone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is Sam protecting Shade.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Sam likely isn't going to be the same with Archie unless Archie's elemental comes to Shade and says, hey,
So, I mean, I hate to point this out to you, but Shade's been infected with the root virus.
Just from coming in contact with.
Mm-hmm. That's why you could hear Root talking to you.
What do you mean coming in contact to?
When you were talking to...
That's what I was about to ask.
In the presence of? Talking to?
Interacting with?
So now, does that infect only elementals, or...
No.
We don't know yet. It's a brand new idea.
So
every time elementals talk to each other and one of them is affected...
Will it get rid of your innate abilities?
I doubt that.
Will it try to drive them out?
we don't know what Root is, though. I mean, it's the other side. It's not really...
No, we don't.
Is it a person? Is it a...
So far, it has attached itself to elementals.
Yeah.
So, innates or anybody who can actually interact with elementals, they don't have an elemental, or they just a carrier. They can just spread it. That's how the war between the innates and the proxies start.
All right, guys.
Stay tuned.
Thank you so much for listening. Have fun.
Thank you for listening to Bone Throwers Theater. Our cast is Aaron, Ellie, Jeff, Jeremy, Johnny, and Jordan. We are releasing this podcast under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 3.0 Unported license. That means you can share the podcast, but please do not modify it or try to gain financially from it. If you would like to visit our website, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater.com. If you would like to send us an email, you can do so at bonethrowerstheater@gmail.com. Our Twitter handle is bonethrowerstheater. You can also look us up on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And until next time, may the bones fall ever in your favor. This has been a Nerd Circle podcast production.